Guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video of Marvel Contest of Champions. We are going to attempt part 2 of normal difficulty of the Crucible today, and the first fight is going to be against a mole man with fight or flight. So every 8 seconds on a cooldown, mole man or you will get an unstoppable depending if you're near or far from mole man. If you're away from mole man, you will get the unstoppable, and if you're near mole man will get the unstoppable. Next one is bleed vulnerability. So if you use a bleed champ, you're going to do some extra damage. And there's also going to be foresight. So if you intercept mole man, you are going to get a fury, increasing your damage by 300% for 3 seconds. There's also incinerate immunity. So incinerate champs are not the best way to go here. And there's no hit mercy also. So whenever you will knock down mole man, he will get a cruelty, increasing his damage for I think 6 seconds. Hey guys, so good counters here are going to be the champions that can deal with his shrug off. So champions like Storm, Pyramid Axe, Omega Red, also somebody like Apocalypse, they can work really well. You can also use a Bishop, but the Mole Man will be Incinerate immune, but you can do the initial damage. Now I am using a Star-Lord here. Don't go with that if you're not confident with the Star-Lord. So what I'm trying to do here is just keep Mole Man to SP1 or SP2 is fine too, and just play around the timer on the unstoppable. You have to be super careful. You might activate his frenzy, and yeah, for the intercepts I am using 3 hit combos, dash back, and then spamming my light so I can do easy intercept because I'm not trying to intercept with my medium. So that helps me get the fury, and after the fury I throw my special attack too. That does quite a bit of damage. I do get hit once, but I am able to bring him down. I just rebuilt my combo and brought down Mole Man. So yeah, his SP1 has quite a big animation, so that helps you run down the timer on the fight or flight. So yeah, it's a regular Mole Man fight with fight or flight. You have to keep an eye on the unstoppable, and rest of it you should be good to take Mole Man down. So just here, intercept, SP2, boom, 101,000, he's out. Now next up is going to be a Magneto with Moth to the Flame, power build-up, spite, aggressive and unblockable specials. So with Moth to the Flame, every time you hit Magneto, you will get a fervor charge on yourself, and when you use a special attack, 10 of those fervor charges are taken away. If you get to a zero fervor, you are gonna get a degen. So the whole thing about this fight is to keep hitting the opponent, keep your charges up more than 10 before you use a special attack, and you have to dodge Magneto's specials. Now if you are not using a power control champion like I am, just keep Magneto to an SP1 because SP2 is really annoying to evade. But because I'm using a 5-star challenge for the normal difficulty, Magic is by far my favorite champion in the game, and she was the first 5-star I ascended. I can just take Magneto in the corner and just keep those corner intercepts, and because of the power lock I'm not worried about Magneto throwing any specials, and I'm just doing the intercepts in the corner. I get a fury every time I use 10 of my forward charges with special attacks, so I convert it into a fury. So if I do a special attack in quick succession, I'm gonna get 20 furies on me for some good damage on Magneto. Now some other counters that you can use are going to be your Shang-Chi, can be your Human Torch, because Magneto is all about energy damage. You can also use Tigra. Titania is also another option with Red Guardian. So again, basic attacks will give you fervor, and using a special attacks will remove 10 of those charges. So you make sure that you don't hit 0, and rest is okay. It's a pretty straightforward fight. Biggest thing, Magneto will do a lot of damage when if you get connected by a special from him. Just keep him to an SP1 and you should be able to get through this fight. Next in there is going to be a M.O.D.O.K. Now he has a Node, Stampede, Defective Defense, Spectre of Ailment, Aggressive, and Shock Immunity. So he is going to be aggressive than usual, and he might corner you, so you have to play a bit more aggressively, or you have to space properly by hitting him in the block. But the problem is there's also Stampede, so you can't hit him in the block because of the Stampede charges. And there's also Defective Defense, so if you are going to parry him, he's going to apply a Disorient debuff on you that will reduce your ability accuracy. So if you have a lot of those Disorient debuffs, you won't be able to parry. So there are plenty of different counters that you can use, especially your champions that can bypass auto block are the ones you're going to go for. So I've done this fight with Angela before, and I've also done this fight with Adam Warlock with those unblockables. So those are a few champions that you can use. There's also Gore, there's also Walks with the Undermine buff, they also work. And there's also Hercules, just with SP1 you can bypass the auto block, and rest is a simpler fight. Now I am using a Magneto here because it's a 5-star challenge, and I think Magneto was an annoying boss for me. So I went for the cheat code, that is Magneto. Just after the fight starts, I wait for a couple of seconds for the magnetize to be applied to M.O.D.O.K. And once it's applied, just parry and heavy, build up your furies, get to an SP3, and 2 SP3s are enough to take out M.O.D.O.K. 2 in SP2s, 2 SP3s are enough to take out M.O.D.O.K. Now remember, this is not a long path like the legendary difficulty, so you have plenty more options available for you for the whole path. So if you are using a Magneto out here, don't worry, we have other options for the other metal champions coming up. I'll go through with them one by one. The next fight is going to be against a Guardian. Now the nodes here are going to be Power Shield, so he will take only damage with specials. There will be some extra damage, but he will not take any damage from basic attacks. There's also Aggression Armor, so every 2 seconds you will gain an armor up if he is not attacked. Then there's also Heavy Handed, so if he throws a heavy attack, that will be unstoppable. Along with True Strike, he's going to ignore your armor ups and do true damage. Now the way this fight, the difficult part of this fight is to not get auto block when you throw specials at Guardian. Not only he has his own armor, but he also gains armor with aggression armor. So for his own armor, you have to bring in the champion that has armor break or that has kind of a nullifier that can take that away. And for the aggression armor, you have to use basic attacks to remove it. I am using a Cosmic Ghost Rider here, so my rotation is very simple: parry and heavy, and then parry into medium attack ending combo that gives you power gain, and then parry into light ending combo that gives me 3 of those judgments into an SP2. So as soon as I throw my SP2, he is also damned with the damnation, and there is no armor up, and he cannot auto block me. Just one thing you have to take care about, that you don't have, and that Guardian does not have any kind of aggression armor up on him when you throw your SP2, and you should be good. Just need to time your damnation with the SP2 so he does not have his own armor up, and you should be good. Next defender is going to be Magneto, House of X. He's probably the most annoying defender in my opinion on this path because of Special Connoisseur, so he will only take 100% damage when you as an attacker has a prowess on you, and while the iron is hot, he only takes damage from your special attacks. Otherwise there's always a protection on him that reduces the incoming damage by 90%. And his specials are unblockable, so that SP1 will really hurt if you are not able to evade it. So what I like to do is I like to keep pushing him to an SP2. I try to use my 4-hit combo and block technique, In that way, I can push him to an SP2. Is much easier to evade. Now for the counters, your best counters are going to be the ones that have built-in prowesses. So for example, both of your Storms, your Professor X, your Jubilee, also Kitty Pryde and Bishop are some of the best champions. But you can also gain those prowesses if you corner Magneto Eyes of X on his side of the screen and you hit in the block. For example, he's stunned. With every hit in the corner, I'm getting prowesses. So that too works. So if you have a champion that works really well with that, bring him along. So for example, I'm just using a Hyperion. I think he is one of the fastest champions to take him down along with Human Torch. So all you need to do is keep pushing him to SP2 and try to take him in a corner with your heavy attack spam. And once you have those enough prowesses, you can throw your special attack and that should do some good damage. So right here is an example. I'm going to throw my SP2 so I can stun him as well. And there you go. Just 2 heavy attacks. That also gives me 10 prowesses and also gives an SP2 to Wags. And right here, I'll throw an SP2 and take him out. So in my opinion, one of the best champions to take out Wags. If you have him as a 5-star, bring him along. Next fight is going to be against a Tigra with Wombo Combo, Staggering Beauty, Prey on the Weak and Heavy Assault. Now you need to have a champion that has that takes less buff or has buff immunity. So champions like Spot, Titania, Red Guardian are some good examples. You can also use Spider Ham because of those power stings and less buffs. But there's also heavy assault here, so if you spam your heavy attacks, that's going to do extra damage. So you can use champions that can work for you and take advantage of that. So for example, if you use an Archangel, he is going to do some extra damage on heavy attack and also apply those neurotoxins that will take down the defender quick. I am using a Human Torch. Now the problem with Human Torch is I have to try and take Tigra out in one go because I only get one pre-fight. If I die here, I will have to come back without a pre-fight, which is still doable because Tigra is a Mystic champion. So the difficulty on this fight will be to know when to evade the specials. So you have to keep an eye when you're dashing forward and she throws a special. You have to be able to evade it on the fly. And same goes for the SP2. It covers a lot of real estate. So just need to know how to do the specials, how to evade them, and you should be good for this fight. I usually get really clipped by the SP1s because the animation is so quick for me, so I miss it out. But other than that, it's a heavy attack spam in the corner, and you should be able to get through the fight. Next up is going to be Venom the Duck with Critical Eye, Crit Me with your best shot, Critical Setup and Aggressive. Now I've sped up this fight because this fight is just very long with the 5-star champion. If you're going to do this path, I would suggest you bring your best 6-star or a 7-star that has easy access to criticals, so you can get through this fight faster. I do get hit quite a bit, but I'm using Monkey here, so he is a crit machine, but because I'm using a 5-star, it took me a bit longer, so I just sped it up. So some other good counters that you can use here are going to be your Ghost, easy access to for opening to hit Venom the Duck, and also remember whenever you will crit the opponent, he is going to get an unblockable buff on him. So you have to play around it. That buff is removed whenever Venom the Duck will try to throw a hit, even if it connects with you or not. Every time he tries to use one hit, that is going to remove one of that unblockable buff on him. So some really good champions I think that work here are going to be your Shang-Chi. Now Shang-Chi will work amazing here because he is a very safe fight. You can start with your unblockable combo, then you can go into your stun combo and then into your heavy attack. You can keep repeating that, and that will be a very easy opening when you have enough through a big SP2. Hit Monkey is another one I'm doing. You can also use Corvus Glaive. Ghost also gives you easy intercepts, and there's also Elsa Bloodstone because her crit rating is one of the highest in the game. So What happens if Venom the Duck gets too many of those unblockable buffs on him? Well, you do an intercept and that removes all of them in one go. But how would you do an intercept? Don't worry about that. Venom the Duck has aggressive note, so he's going to be really aggressive as well. So if there's no bars of power on Venom the Duck, that is the best time to do an intercept. Try to keep Venom the Duck to an SP1 only, because the SP2 is a bit annoying to evade. And yeah, slow and steady you can take out. So, but I highly suggest, I am just doing this for a 5-star challenge, so I can help people with smaller rosters to get through the Crucible and get rewards. But ideally bring in a critical champion with easy access to crits, bring in a more 6-star or 7-star version and boost full, so you can get through this fight faster. Otherwise this fight can be a bit annoying to deal with. Now next up we are going to have Hitmonkey, who is super annoying to deal with. First thing, his own kit is very annoying. You make one mistake and one combo just ends you. And there's no hit mercy, so if you knock him down, he's going to get a bump in his criticals. And there's also shock immunity and heavy assault. So again, heavy attacks will do more damage, so you have to use champions that have easy access to special heavy attacks. So I'm talking about your Captain America Infinity Wars, your Warlocks, your Apocalypse. I'm using an Archangel here, just parry and heavy, nice and easy. And because there's life cycle, Archangel is just like the perfect counter for this fight. So all you need to do is just parry and heavy. The knockdowns will also reduce the life cycle timer. And by the time Hitmonkey is at 0 health, you are easily able to take him down, because the neurotoxins will not allow Hitmonkey to heal with life cycle, and he'll be at 1% health. And as soon as you knock down, the neurotoxin is going to tick him down to 0 and he will die. Nice and easy, lemon squeezy, but he can be really annoying to deal with. So in my opinion, if you have an Archangel, please keep him for this fight. It will make your life much easier and you can take him down much faster. So next fight is going to be against a Punisher 2099. Punisher 2099 is the next fight. The nose here is going to be Surge Protector and Power Struggle. So you will only gain a bar of power when Punisher gains a bar of power. And also Surge Protector, even if he uses a special attack, Surge Protector, depending on how many charges he has, it's going to give him power back. So basically he will get 2 special ones in a row or 2 special 2s in a row to make it easy for you. Now the best champions here that are that can continuously power drain him on an SP1. So your absolute cheese option is going to be your Guillotine 2099. You can also use Vision, you can also use both Visions. Just keep throwing the SP1. He does not get a special attack when you throw it, so he keeps getting power drained and you can bring him down. Now I did not have a good champion here for this fight, so I just brought in Hercules and I was like, you know what, I will just Herc this fight. That is not the best approach, but it kind of worked for me. So if you are going to be stuck, just use a Hercules and you should be okay. You will have to eat a lot of specials. My thought process was, even if I'm about to die, I will get immortality. So that will help me get through this fight and I will use less revives. But yeah, this is a fight that you need to plan before you start your path. next fight is going to be against a Nova with time to strike, supercharge, fury, aggressive and burnout. Now, easily put, if I have to make it super easy, try to keep Nova to an SP1 only. SP2 is fine too, as long as you can block it. The difficult part here is like to remove any kind of buffs on him. So use champions that can help you remove any kind of buffs on him, because if there is no fury, if there is no armor up, he won't go unblockable and you can block the specials. Now you also need to have power control. So the best champion that does all of that is going to be your Dr. Doom. So just simple Doom cycle and you are able to take Nova out. So this whole fight is all about Doom cycling. So I don't need to explain on that more, but I would like to talk about some other champions that work really well. Now, because Nova is a metal champion, you can also use a Magneto here. And also a difficult part about Nova is, apart from the unblockable, is when he auto blocks you when he has a fury. So if you use a champion that is a counter to auto block, that works well for you. So for example, Angela can work really good. And our topmost option is a champion that can remove all the buffs and also keep the power in check. So there is no better option than Black Widow Clairvoyant. Just switch her to poison mode and you can not only control the power, with the buff immunity on the opponent, he is not able to gain any buffs. And if you have Mystic Dispersion like me, you can keep throwing those special 2 attacks back to back and you are able to take out Nova quite easily. Another really cool option is Sorcerer Supreme. Throw one SP2, SP3 and then just spam the SP2s. And also remember that if you get clipped by the special attack on Nova with an SP2, it won't really matter, because you can only take 15% health off of Sorcerer Supreme while he throws an SP3 because of the armor phase. So here are some of the options that you can use. And if you really want to just power control and spam heavy in the corner, you can use America Chavez. She works really well too because of the negative zone. She reverses all the power. So that is also a good option for Nova. And with all of those extra buffs, the SP2 will really hurt. That's why against Abomination Immortal is the perfect example when you pick the wrong champion so late in the path. I really wanted to pick like a Vision or somebody with a power control so I don't have to worry about meltdown, because there are so many things in this fight that could go wrong. So there is a meltdown timer. So the way that works is there is a meltdown timer that passes between you and the defender like a hot potato, depending whoever throws a special attack. And if it's whoever has at the end of the meltdown timer, and if you don't use a special attack, that explodes on you and does a bit of damage to you. So that's one. Then there's Hurt Locker. So you can't use the same special attack twice in a row, otherwise you get a cooldown timer on you. And if you don't use a heavy attack, that also detonates on you and you take damage. So there's a lot of health to lose. Now ideally you need to bring a champion that is immune to poison and that has some kind of power control, so you don't have to worry about the poison damage and you don't have to worry about the meltdown timer. So your Guillotine 2099, your Warlocks, your Visions, all of that work. But me being a smartass, I tried to bring in Ghosts because I wanted to finish the fight faster. It ended up costing me 3 revives and I barely got him down on the last revive. I was trying to leverage the poisons so I can get more Furies and take Immortal Abomination down. Don't get me wrong, this fight is doable. If you have a Ghost that is a 6-star or a 7-star, this fight is way faster and more easier to manage. The big criticals easily take down Abomination, and if you have some boost on yourself, it will be quick. But because I'm using only 5-star champions, so got clipped, died at least 3 times, so I've sped up the fight, showing you all the deaths. So learn from my mistake. If you want to bring in a Ghost, bring in a 6-star on a 7-star and alternate your specials. That is, or the best tips for that. Now by the time I got in this fight the 4th time, I learned my lesson. I was playing really slow. So right here, just letting him throw an SP1, that's okay, nice and easy. Just throwing my heavy attacks with a parry, building up my furies and cruelty. There he comes again. Same goes with an SP1, and there's some damage. Now I've used my SP1. I'm looking at the one underneath my health bar. Now I know I have to throw an SP2. So just slowly converting those furies into converting those poisons into passive furies. Every now and then using a heavy attack so I can knock Abomination back and keep my distance going. And with the phase, I'm also getting power. So slowly I was able to take 60% down of Abomination in one go. But then again, use a different champion if you have it, or if you're like a godly ghost player, then go with ghost. You have to take care about the meltdown, the hurt locker, and also kinetic transference, along with the enhanced SP1, and rest should be fine. The SP1 is not really a big deal. Even if it's unblockable, you can easily evade that. But the difficult part on this fight will be how you will manage the poisons, the meltdown, and the hurt locker all together. Easiest way would be bring in champions that are immune to poison and have power control, so you eliminate the poison damage, you eliminate the meltdown, because if Abomination doesn't have power, he is not gonna throw any specials, and if he doesn't throw any special, the meltdown timer will always be on him. I've done this fight on legendary with Vision, Age of Ultron. That was my champion. You can choose the same or not. And finally is going to be your hurt locker. For hurt locker, you will need to alternate your specials. And yeah, if you do that, you should be able to get through this fight. But these are the points of performance. I hope it helps you. It's not really an easy fight, but you can make it easier with a better choice of a champion. Finally, we are at the tail end of this gauntlet or this path, and the fight is going to be against a Man-Thing. Now with Man-Thing, I would suggest you to use only Science champions, because there is a flare node that gives you extra damage but also gives you degen. So that depends on your class adjacencies as well. So Man-Thing is a Mystic champion. Go for a Science champion who is also poison immune. So for me, I'm going to use a She-Hulk here, but you can use your other champions. Like Red Hulk can also work really nicely here. Your OG Hulk, Overseer, all of these champions work. Now if I were doing it with 6 or 7 stars, I was definitely bring my Overseer. He just ramps up very quick with the poison, and he can finish this fight super fast. But because it's a 5-star challenge, I am using my She-Hulk. The whole reason for me to do this as a 5-star is to help people with smaller rosters to get the Crucible done, and you can get some of those good rewards as well before September 4th. Now the nodes here are going to be high energy diets, so do not use a champion that has energy damage, because that will do only 1% damage to Man-Thing and will keep healing. There's also power shield, so he will not take any damage with basic attacks, but only damage you can apply is with your special attacks, and your special attacks will have extra increased damage. Flare node we have discussed already. Do not use bring in champion that has power gain of any type, because the power reversal node will drain you of all of your power, and you will not be able to throw any special attacks, so you will be in a stalemate. And the way this Crucible works, you will have to restart over, so just be very careful about that. And Man-Thing specials are unblockable, so both SP1 and SP2 are unblockable, but that's not a problem. You can evade both of them. If you can push Man-Thing to SP2s, that is much more desirable because it's a easy kind of animation to deal with. If it's an SP1, it's a very slow animation. Sometimes even if you wait, you just get clipped by at the end of it. So yeah, just be careful about that. Some really good champions that work here are going to be your Scorpion, your Overseer, your Titania. You can also bring in a more Immortal Abomination and use those poisons to your advantage. And I'm gonna use a She-Hulk 5-star because that's the only good signs for this fight that I have in a 5-star version. But when you are playing this, go for a 6-star or a 7-star. That will help you finish off this fight faster and move on to the final 4 fights of the battle. Void is going to be the next boss here that we need to deal with. Now there is setup and spike node, there is safeguard and force of will. So force of will, we cannot reduce his ability accuracy, and safeguard is he cannot take more than 1% damage from any damage source whenever you will attack him. And then there is setup and spike. Now that is the main node. And the way this works is you have to apply 6 active debuffs on Void before you knock him down. If you knock him down with 6 active debuffs, he's going to take a burst damage. But if you knock him down without those, you are going to take burst damage on yourself and you will die very quick. Couple that with all the shenanigans from Void himself, all of his debuffs, and the way you have to manage your hits, it's going to be a difficult fight. Now I am using a blade because I did not have any other options. I had to bring in blade, but try to use a champion that can apply a lot of debuffs. So your Nick Furies, your Ironheart, your Werewolf by Night, Shuri, Black Widow Deadly Origin, Lady Deathstrike, all of these champions can easily apply more than 6 debuffs together, and you can then knock down with a special or a heavy attack, and that will give more damage to Void. Now for me, this fight was particularly difficult because I didn't have those champions in 6 or 7 star version, or I was in a 5-star version, because I'm trying to do this with a 5-star. So I was leaning on to the heal from Blade, and I was trying to manage the Purify with the number of hits. So right here I waited on 89, and as soon as the debuff was applied, I removed it after a parry and a hit, and I'm blocking a lot more to get the regen and throwing my SP2s. So that's how I manage this one. But the easier way for this fight is to bring in champion that can apply 5 to 6 debuffs in a row. So you see that I do get lucky here sometimes when my SP2 applies a lot more bleeds. If I apply more than 6 to 7 bleeds, those bleeds are taken away and the Void takes a burst damage. So let's look at this. Only 2, 5. Look, I took a burst damage on myself. But if the RNG is in your favor and you can apply 6 bleeds before he's knocked down in the end of SP2, that gives Void extra damage because of setup and spike. So it's a pretty back and forth fight for me because, well, not the best champion Blade, but I was able to manage through it. You go for Lady Deathstrike, Black Widow Deadly Origin, or champions that apply a lot of bleeds or any kind of debuffs that can sustain more than 6. Go for those and you should be good. Moleman should also be a good option for this fight as long as the bleeds are up there. Within the frenzy also, this fight can be way faster than doing it with Blade. Platinumpool is up next. The node here is going to be M.O.D.O.K. So if you alternate the last set of your combo meter, you are going to get a Fury that will help you increase your damage. And there is also Smorgasbord. So with that one, within a timer, you need to apply more than 10 debuff on Platinumpool. If you apply more than 10 debuffs, that after the cooldown, that is converted into a degen. And if you're unable to apply more than 10 debuffs, that is converted into a regen. So right now I have 12 of them stored. As soon as the timer goes away, there is a degen of Platinumpool. So the more debuffs you try to apply, they are stored as snack charges, and you need to have more than 10 snack charges when the cooldown is over. His SP1 is very easy to evade, so I would say keep him to an SP1 only and keep trying to apply those debuffs so you can give him snack charges. So right now I'm above 10, so the more I bank, the more degen he will take. So 15 now, just waiting on the cooldown, and that 17 of those snack charges are converted into a degen, and just like that, slowly you can take him down. So plenty of different options again that you can use here. Your Shuris, your Lady Deathstrikes, your Black Widow Deadly Origin, your Nick Furies, Werewolf by Night, all of these champions work really well. Bring in any one of them and you can run through this fight. Now Venom is RNG dependent, and right now I'm panicking. I want to apply one more snack charge. Finally I get it almost at the end of the the cooldown, so that can happen, so just be wary about that. And yeah, other than that, it's a straightforward fight. Don't push him to an SP2, keep him to an SP1 only, and you should be able to get through this fight quite easily in the end. Final fight before the boss is going to be a dragon man with stunning reflections, so there is a shield on him, and if you try to parry and stun him, that is reflected to you and you will be stunned. There is empowered immunity, so if you try to bleed or poison Dragon Man, because he's immune to it, he will gain extra power. Then extend, so any kind of debuff he applies that includes the stun from the stunning reflection, it's going to be extended. Now right here you notice I got stunned. That was a very unforced mistake from me. I tried not to get parry. What I like to do is to keep blocking, and when Dragon Man throws a heavy attack, I go back in and retaliate, or even after SP1. So you will notice at 10% health, because I was running willpower and I was getting the debuff from the special one, I was able to slowly get back and regen up to 50. But it's a very slow fight with Void, so I would say if you have a Human Torch available, bring him. It will be a faster fight and you can take Dragon Man out much faster. Some of the options that can work here can be your Scorpion, but change it to Rupture or Shock. You can also use Sandman. Spidey 2099 can also work. You can also use Yellow Jacket. So plenty of options that can work. Just be wary about that stunning reflection, and if you play around that, you should be okay. I like using Void because I just have to concentrate on focus on not getting stunned, and the rest, the debuffs, do rest of my dirty work and get Dragon Man down. So I think I was able to bring him down much comfortably in the end. I did die once again because again I parried, and that reflected on me. Unforced mistake again, but I was able to take him down with one revive. So all of this path cost me total of 4 revives, 3 on Immortal Abomination because of my wrong choice with Ghost, and 1 on Dragon Man with unforced error, and everything else was a solo. So I hope this guide helps you out and helps you clear this path. If you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. 2 more parts, I'll put them up with 5 stars as well. Let me know what is your feedback on this Crucible event. And yeah, let's get it going in the comment section. Now I will jump on to the Gwenmaster fight. There's a lot to unpack there, so see you there, guys. And finally, we have a Gwenmaster fight. Now, this fight does not require any specific champions. You can do this fight with any champion. If you bring in a reverse control, that does help, but you can play around it by learning through it. Now, when I started this, when I did this in Legendary difficulty, there was a juiced node and all the nodes got activated. But I think that was a bug. Since then, it has been fixed. So now this is a fight without any kind of nodes with simple Gwenmaster. Now, the way the Gwenmaster fight works, there is going to be 5 phases. This first one is going to be Emma Frost leggings. So you will notice that it's denominated by a yellow mutant icon underneath Gwenmaster. So the way this works is you have to push Gwenmaster to 4 prowesses and let her use an SP2 that will take damage. Number 2 is going to be Killmonger's necklace. So there is going to be 50 counter punch charges here. So you have to hit Gwenmaster 50 times and remove those charges to 0. The more important part here is do not throw any special attacks, otherwise that will be returned and you will die. You will have to evade the special ones, and you will have to do some kind of intercepts to keep that timer down, because you have to get these 50 charges within the timer that is given. That timer can be paused with heavy attacks or by intercepts, so doing that helps you out. So just the last 4 hits and we moved on to the next phase, that is going to be Invisible Woman. So with her, there is a force shield around her, and you will notice that we have a counter every time we hit. Every time we use a heavy attack, those are reduced. So we have to reduce the shield down to 0 and remove it. But remember, whenever she will use a special attack, she will go invisible. Now, if you have a champion that has bleeds or that has immunity to mind control, you don't have to worry about the miss. You can just go ahead. So like somebody like Professor X or Nick Fury, you don't need to worry about the invisibility. If not, you have to parry and use at least 1 attack to remove the invisibility, just like that, and you can go back in. And again, you have to use intercepts, because the biggest challenge on this phase is the time. I was barely able to get that Invisible Woman phase down, and now there is Arcus Hoodie, I think so. So I have to knock Gwenmaster down in 4 different ways. So every time I knock her down in a different way, my power gain increases. So use a heavy attack, knock down, then use an SP1 that will automatically knock down. Then use an SP2 that's knockdown number 3, and in the end you have to use an SP3 that's knockdown number 4. And once you do that, you are ready to push Gwenmaster to an SP2, at which point she will throw an SP2 and take self damage, and that should push you into the next phase. So right here, I'm trying to do intercepts as well, so I keep the timer in check. I get to an SP3. There you have it. And I have knocked Gwenmaster down with 4 different attacks. She gets an SP2, throws it out, but takes self damage. And we move into the next phase. That is going to be I think this one is Vision Arcus Hoodie. So you need to get 10 armor breaks on yourself before you knock down Gwenmaster. So if you notice, there is an armor break timer. So every time that armor break timer is the cooldown is completed, you are going to get an armor break on yourself. Now the way this phase works for me is I try to do the intercepts and let Gwenmaster throw the SP1. So during one animation of SP1, I dash back, and that is enough to give me an armor up. So I need to focus only on the intercepts and giving Gwenmaster SP1 and evading that. The armors will come on their own. I'm already at 8. Now waiting on the 9th one. There you have it. So if I'm near Gwenmaster, I will not get an armor. The timer, the cooldown will be paused. So you have dust you need to be careful about and stay away. And finally, you have the tech one, that is the most hardest one with those armor ups. So you need to use your 4th light attack to remove armor, or if Gwenmaster uses a special attack, you have to use your heavy attack to remove. So right here there's a special attack. So I'm waiting. I'll use my heavy attack, so that will remove the armor too. So yeah, more detailed guide is available on my channel. I can't cover everything here. Check that out. And that is it, guys. I hope that helps. See you on the next one. Bye.